In exercise 6.3, you are asked to enter the following transactions for Super Duper Stores into the CJ and the CPJ for January 2020. So let's quickly go and give our CJ and CPJ headings. It's the CJ of Super Duper Stores for January 2020. January is the first month of the year, so it's CJ number 1. And it's the CPJ of Super Duper Stores for January 2020, which makes it CPJ number 1. Then they also ask you to post the journals to the general ledger, and then they say something interesting. They say the following balances appear in the creditors ledger of Super Duper Stores at the end of December. Okay, and what this is that we owe Jumbo Wholesalers 7,500 Rand and Mega Computers 900 Rand at the beginning of 2020. Just ignore this 2005. Okay, assume it said December 2019. Okay, so due to purchases that we've made in the previous year, we owe some money. And if you add these two values together, the 7,500 plus the 900, then you will actually get the opening balance of your creditors control account in the general ledger. But I'll come back to that. Let's focus on the transactions first. Now, the first transaction took place on the 2nd of Jan. It said packing material is bought on credit from Fit All, creditor number 3, for 1,800 Rand. Okay, so you know that this is a CJ transaction because we're buying on credit. And we are receiving an invoice, number 334. But then they tell you renumber to number 60. Okay, so we won't use this given invoice number. We will use our own invoice numbers starting with number 60. In the CJ, you will say the invoice number is number 60. It's the 2nd. The creditor's name is Fit All, creditor number 3. The value must go to creditors control, and then after creditors control, we must take it to the account that is affected. In this case, we bought packing materials. So you just write it in packing materials. Then on the 3rd, we paid. The word paid needs to tell you immediately this is a CPJ transaction because we are making a payment. Jumbo Wholesalers, 7,500 Rand per check. Okay, check is another word that indicates it's a CPJ transaction, number 001, in settlement of our account. So what happened now is that this 7,500 Rand that we owed in the beginning of the month, we are now actually paying back. In the CPJ, it will be check number 001. It's on the 3rd. We are paying Jumbo Wholesalers, and because we are making an interaction with a creditor, you have to write his number, the creditor number, in the folio column here. Okay, and then the value goes to bank because in the CPJ, every value goes to bank, and we are paying back a creditor, so it goes to creditors control. Then on the 5th, we buy goods for resale. That means that we're buying trading inventory on credit. And if we're buying on credit, you should know that this is a CJ transaction. From Jumbo Wholesalers, creditor number 1 for 16,000 Rand. So it goes to the CJ. They didn't even give you an invoice number, but you know the previous renumbered invoice number was 60, so this must be 61. It's on the 5th. The creditor is Jumbo Wholesalers, creditor number 1. The value goes to creditors control. And because we are buying goods for resale, it also goes to trading inventory. Then on the 7th, we bought goods per check. Okay, the fact that it's per check tells you that it's a CPJ transaction from Hip Hop Suppliers, 800 Rand. Okay, so this is just a normal CPJ transaction like you've done since Form 1. It will be check number 002 because the previous check was 001. It's on the 7th. The details is Hip Hop Suppliers, and Hip Hop Suppliers is not a creditor. We are not buying on credit and we're not paying back a creditor, so you don't write anything in this folio column. You have to write the value in bank and you have to write the value in trading inventory because we're buying goods with the intent to resell it. Then on the 16th, we buy trading inventory on credit. The word credit tells you that this is a creditor's journal transaction. From AZ Supplies, creditor number 4 for 500 Rand. Okay, so go to your CJ. It will be invoice number 62 because we use our renumbered invoice system. It's on the 16th. The creditor is AZ Supplies, Supplies. Creditor number 4. We are buying goods worth 500 Rand, so it goes to creditors control and trading inventory. Then on the 17th, we purchased 2 new computers from Mega Computers. Creditor number 2 for 6,500 Rand each on account. The words on account means that we are buying, but we are not paying immediately. We are opening an account. Okay, in other words, this is a creditor's journal transaction. And we bought 2 computers at 6,500 Rand each, so you have to multiply that value by 2. In the creditor's journal, it will look like this. It will be invoice number 63. On the 17th, the creditor's name is Mega Computers, creditor number 2. 6,500 multiplied by 2 is 13,000 Rand. That goes to creditors control. And computers are seen as equipment, so it goes to sundry accounts. And if you look at your general ledger on the next page, equipment is balance sheet section account number 1. Remember to reference your general ledger in this folio column. Then on the 22nd, we receive an account for landscaping done around the premise from the gardeners. If we receive an account, it means that we didn't pay. Okay, we received that account because we still need to pay, so it's a creditor's journal transaction. Landscaping is an expense called landscaping. Okay, so in the CJ, it will be invoice number 64 on the 22nd. The company's name is The Gardeners, creditor number 5. The value of the account that we received was 8,700 Rand, and it goes to landscaping in the sundry accounts section. And if you look in your general ledger, in the next page, landscaping is nominal account number 2. Then on the 23rd, we buy packaging materials from Pack Packers, 300 Rand, and pay directly into their bank account. The fact that we are paying now means that this is a cash payments journal transaction. And if we are paying directly into their bank account, it means it's an electronic payment, so the document will be bank statement. So in the CPJ, we will say bank statement on the 23rd. The details of the company is Pack Packers. We don't write anything in the folio column because we're not interacting with a creditor. The value goes to bank, and there's no packing materials column in the CPJ, so it goes to sundry accounts. And if you look in your general ledger on the next page, packing material is nominal account number 1. And then the last transaction for this month is we bought supply of fruit juice from the Juice Oasis, creditor number 6, for resale. Okay, so if we are buying for resale, it's trading inventory. We were charged 8,000 Rand on account. If we are charged on account, it's a CJ transaction. Okay, so in your CJ, it will be invoice number 65 on the 29th. The creditor's name is the Juice Oasis, creditor number 6. The value of our account was 8,000 Rand, and because we are buying with the intent to resell, it's trading inventory. And that's it. Then just remember to total your columns. Okay, so that's your column totals for the CJ, and to reference your general ledger. If you look on the next page, creditors control is account number B4, trading inventory is account number B2, packing materials is account number N1, and then we still need to count up to total our columns in the CPJ and reference our general ledger. Bank is balance sheet account number 3, trading inventory is balance sheet account number 2, creditors control balance sheet account number 4. Now that we are done with the journals, we can go and do the general ledger. But the first thing that I want you to do when you do a general ledger is you have to give it a heading. So you would say that this is the general ledger of Super Duper Stores for January 2020. And then I want you to quickly go through each account, classify it as an asset, liability, owner's equity, income or expense, and make the plus and minus signs according to dead and click. Then the next thing that you always do when you do the general ledger is you have to go and look if there are any opening balances. Now, the only account that had an opening balance in this case that was given to you in the information is creditors control because of what they said here. They said the following balances appear in the creditors ledger at the end of December 2019. So I said to you, when January 2020 started, we already owed a total of 900 plus 7,500 Rand, which is 8,400 Rand. Therefore, in creditors control, on the side where creditors control increases, the credit side, you will say January 2020, the first balance brought down, because that's what we say in the balance sheet section for an opening balance, 8,400 Rand. Then the next thing that you do, if you have two journals, as I would say, go through the sundry accounts section first for both journals and post all of these entries, because they're not posted at the end of the month. They are posted on the date when the transactions were recorded. And then after that, you can go and post the column totals just to make sure that you post all of your entries in chronological order from the beginning till the end of the month. So I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to start in the CJ by posting this 13,000 Rand to equipment on the 17th. Now remember, we bought equipment, so our equipment will increase. Therefore, on the side where equipment increases, the debit side, you will write January 2020, the 17th. We bought equipment, but we didn't pay for it yet, so you can't write bank. It was a CJ transaction, so you write creditors control CJ, and the value was 13,000 Rand. Remember, the posting rule for the CJ is that creditors control will be credited, everything else will be debited. The same thing with the CPJ. Bank will be credited, everything else will be debited. So they're very similar. You will see in this exercise. Then the next sundry accounts transaction is this 8,700 that should be posted to landscaping on the day when this transaction was recorded, the 22nd. So once again, when you go to landscaping, our expense got bigger. Okay. Therefore, we post on the side where landscaping increased, the debit side. You write January 2020, the 22nd, creditors control CJ, 8,700 Rand. Another reason why we're writing it on this side is because creditors control is credited, everything else is debited. Then our next sundry accounts transaction was in the CPJ. We have to post this 300 Rand to packing materials on the 23rd. Okay, so you go to packing materials in your general ledger. You know the CPJ rule is bank is credited, everything else is debited. So on the debit side, you write January 2020, the 23rd, bank CPJ 300 Rand. Now we're done posting the sundry account section, so we can go and post the column totals. We can start with our CJ first, so we can post this creditors control column total of 48,000 Rand, and we post it at the end of the month on the 31st of Jan. Now remember, this column total will go to the credit side because we owe more money, so our liability gets bigger. Therefore, in creditors control, on the credit side, on the 31st, you will write total purchases. Why total purchases? Because this is the main column in the creditors journal, and we bought many different things. Okay, we bought equipment, we paid for landscaping, we bought trading inventory. So this 48,000 Rand represents our total purchases for the month. The next column total that we need to post is this 24,500 Rand that needs to go to trading inventory. On the side where trading inventory increases because we bought more trading inventory. So in your general ledger, on the plus side of trading inventory, you go and write January 2020, the 31st because it's a column total, creditors control because it comes from the CJ, 24,500 Rand. And then the last column total from the CJ is this 1,800 Rand that needs to go to packing materials. Once again, on the side where the expense gets bigger because we bought more packing materials. So on the plus side or on the debit side of packing materials, you will write on the 31st, creditors control because the value comes from the CJ, 1,800 Rand. Can you see in this account, it's actually very easy to see why I'm posting sundry accounts first, because then I ensure that these two entries are in the correct order. If you had the CJ value before the CPJ value, then you would actually lose some marks. Okay, so now we are done with packing materials, so we can total these two values to say 2,100 Rand. Then we need to go and post the column totals from the CPJ. This bank column total of 8,600 Rand needs to be posted to the credit side of bank because we are paying money. So we post it to the side where bank decrease. And remember, the details in bank will be total payments. So in your bank, on the credit side, you will write January 2020, the 31st, because it's a column total payments, CPJ, 8,600 Rand. Then in trading inventory, we have to post this 800 Rand to the side where trading inventory increase because we also bought trading inventory in the CPJ. The difference between this and the CJ is we actually paid this 800 Rand. So in trading inventory on the debit side, where trading inventory increase, you will write bank CPJ 800 Rand. If you swapped these two around, it doesn't matter because both of them were column totals that are posted on the 31st. And then we can just quickly total our trading inventory account to 25,300 Rand. And then the last column total we need to post is this creditors control value of 7,500 Rand that needs to go to the side where creditors control decrease, the debit side. One of the easiest ways to remember this is the CPJ rule. Says bank is credited, everything else is debited. But another reason is we are actually repaying the people that we owe money to. So our creditors control gets less on the debit side. Okay, we owe less money because we made a payment on the 31st of Jan 2020. Because it's a CPJ value, the contra account is bank, CPJ 7,500 Rand. And now because creditors control has entries on both sides, you need to quickly balance this account. Okay, so the balancing rule is on the plus side, you add the two values together. So you say 8,400 plus 48,000 and you get 56,400. You write this value in the double lines on both sides of the account. Then on the minus side of the account, you take this value and you subtract the value that's already there. So 56,400 minus 7,500 gives you 48,900, and that will be the balance that you will carry down to the next month. On the opposite side, on the 1st of Feb, you will say the balance that you've brought down from the previous month is 48,900.